Hello, welcome to SpaceX SFS tutorial series. Today's episode about landing guidance. This is the second episode of our series, so let's get started. Landing has two types. The first is RTLS and ASDS. I will explain ASDS first. It stands for Autonomous Spaceport Drone-Ship. The first step is to determine where the downrange is. The way to do it is to launch Falcon 9 with 25 tons of payload first. But before we start, I would like to inform you, our tutorial series create a giveaway event. You can get Starship, Super Happy, Star Tower, Themis, Lunar Gateway, and Blood Drone Ship. If you want to get it, join our Discord now and follow the step there. Link will be in the description. Okay, back to the topic. ASDS is commonly used for payload heavier than 15 tons, where there's not enough rocket fuel to do a boost back, so it will follow the trajectory to the downrange and landed on the drone ship that was usually in the middle of the ocean. Why do we need to launch it first? Is this important? Yes, of course. You will find the downrange location from this step, so before the real mission starts, for the first time, we have to determine the downrange. But after the downrange location has been found and the drone ship has been placed there, we only need to follow the direction of the rocket trajectory on the next launch, without having to determine the downrange again. After staging and the two rockets piloted, throw away the second stage, because we only need the downrange of the first stage. In this phase, we usually still control the second stage, but because this is still determined location of the downrange, we can prepare the necessary staging. At this point, we usually have finished place the second stage in the parking orbit and start controlling the first stage again and preparing for the re-entry. It's important to think this is like a real mission, because the next launch will follow this trajectory. Wait up to a height of 15 km and entry burn start. Keep aiming the rocket at the retrograde. Then turn off when the rocket reaches 10 km. And keep following the trajectory. Double check the rocket's configuration for landing. And start landing burn at altitude of 3000 meter, or also if you want, it can be at 1000 meter, so that the next flight is easier when landing. We start the landing burn at an altitude of 3000 meter only, so that there's still plenty of time to adjust the drop point of the first stage later. The first stage has landed, the downrange location has been found, and then activate sandbox mode to proceed to the next step. Change the control to the drone ship and we will move this drone ship to the landing location of the first stage. Use the engine of the drone ship to move it there. After we arrive at the landing location, let it activate the engine of the other side if needed to brake. Moving on to the step 3, we will return this booster to the launch site to refuel and start the actual mission. Activate the required sandbox mode and point the booster to the launch site. After the booster lands, attach it to the drone bag and refuel. And go to the step 4. Build new second stage and your actual payload. Activate sandbox mode to attach the second stage to the booster that has been refueled. Once they're connected, you are ready to start your real mission. This is the real mission. I recorded my flight from here on my video on the official SpaceX recreation mission before. After the remaining fuel is 30% in the booster, do staging. The second stage is going to orbit. We will just focus on the booster until it's time we change the control to the booster again before re-entry. Prepare all the staging you need. Check the engine for re-entry burn, and at an altitude of 15 km, do the same entry burn as before. A little secret here, when doing entry burn, correct the drop point toward at the last approaching the drone ship. Tilt the rocket left and right to adjust the drop point, then turn off the entry burn at the altitude of 10 km. Check the staging and engine configuration for landing. It's okay if the trajectory misses beyond the drone ship point. Atmospheric drag will slowly stop the horizontal velocity and booster speed. And this is the most thrilling moment. Starting to landing burn toward the retrograde, aim the booster to the left if we want it to go left and vice versa. Aim to the drone ship and adjust the engine throttle. Enable staging for landing leg. When the drone ship is in the right point, aim the booster up again. And the drone ship coming into view. It's important you can also do quick saving so that when it fails, you can repeat and the landing process become more perfect. And congrats! You have been landed your booster and ready to fly again on the next mission. Well, after the drop point location has been found and the drone ship is there, we just need to land it easily, no need to find downrange anymore. Just fly, land, fly again, then land again, as long as the booster is not damaged. Next to the second type of landing, we call it RTLS, Return to Launch Sites. This flight profile is slightly different from ASDS, but we don't need to determine the downrange location, because the drop point is at the launch site. This type is usually for a payload of less than 10 metric ton. The booster still has a lot of fuel to do a boost back burn, direct the drop point to the launch site or landing zone. So we will leave the fuel as much as 35%, do MECO and staging as well. Then do a boost back burn directly the drop point to the launch site. After the drop point is almost close, turn off the engine and directly skip to the entry burn. Check the configuration and set the staging for landing, and as usual, wait until it reaches 15 km for entry burn. Do the same as landing on ASDS, using entry burn to correct the drop point location to be more accurate. After the entry burn start, aim the rocket and adjust the drop point. I direct the drop point into the middle of the launch site. After reaching 10 km, turn off the engine. Oh, this bug always bother me. I hope they fix it. Back to the booster. I use landing at 2000 meters to save a little fuel. As usual, adjust the direction of the drop point and don't forget to control the engine throttle too. Don't let the rocket to come back up. And now activate the landing legs and so that's my landing guidance technique. Hopefully it will useful to apply to your gameplay. Comment below if you have a better configuration or idea. Don't hesitate. I really enjoy reading comment. Come join the giveaway and get the prize. Okay, so it's for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe because 45% of viewers don't subscribe to this channel. So come on, subscribe to support us and activate the notification bell for the latest video. And you can also support SpaceX SFS via Patreon, then get a lot of advance to premium proven there. It's time for me to sign out. Have a nice day and goodbye.